Well, brethren, happy Sabbath, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to part 2 of the Friday night Sabbath Eve Bible study for this 17th day of the 8th month on God's holy sacred calendar, and parallel to that on the pagan Roman calendar, as you can see here from a page from Arthur Spear's comprehensive Hebrew calendar. It's now the 7th day of November until midnight. And this Sabbath will consume 2 dates on the Roman calendar, from sunset tonight on the 7th to sunset on the 8th of November. All 1 day with God. So tonight, if it's after sunset where you are, it'll be the same day in the morning when you wake up. Not a new day, but the same day it became at sunset tonight. And now we're doing part 2. I did about 35 minutes of a live stream earlier, and I'm repeating it because we're going to repeat this Bible correspondence course lesson that we're going through. I had some problems finding the audio during the earlier live stream. We finally did find it, but it took me a little while. So we're going to do this one for this archive recording and go straight to Section C of Lesson 1 of the Ambassador College Bible Correspondence course that we started just last week with the very first lesson. We did all of Lesson 38 and a good portion of Lesson 39 during the last two feasts, during the last great day and the Feast of Tabernacles that preceded the last great day this year. We spent some time going through the Ambassador College Bible Correspondence course in an audio version, as I've been putting it together with 4 different voices to make it easy to listen to. And so we're going to pick up where we left off last Friday night and carry on now with Section C of that course. And we'll have this in the archive for tonight's Bible study. And without any further ado, as the old cliche goes, here we go with Lesson 1, Section C.
Ambassador College Bible Correspondence Course, 58 Lesson Edition, 1977 Revision, Lesson 1, Section C. This audio version is copyright 2025 by Sabbath.tv and COGTV.org. This presentation is directed and presented by Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth. Section C, No Time Like It.
Question C1. Has there ever been a time of trouble such as will occur just before Christ's return? Matthew chapter 24 verse 21 and Mark chapter 13 verse 19.
Matthew 24 verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. Mark 13 verse 19. For in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation which God created unto this time, neither shall be.
Question C2. Were any of the Old Testament prophets inspired to foresee this same time of worldwide peril? Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 7 and Daniel chapter 12 verse 1.
Jeremiah 30 verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Daniel 12 verse 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book.
Comment. Since each of the preceding 4 prophecies reveal that the future period of crisis will have no equal, they can only be referring to one great climactic period of worldwide trouble.
Question C3. How did the prophet Joel symbolically describe the horrible events to take place at the close of this age? Joel chapter 2 verses 1 through 3.
Joel 2 verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Verse 2. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. Verse 3. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
Comment. Joel's God-inspired prophecy pictures the very same time of trouble prophesied by Christ, Jeremiah, and Daniel. This prophecy refers to events soon to occur at the close of this age. For only in this age of nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons has such widespread destruction and the extermination of human life been possible.
Question C4. Could the symbols in Revelation chapter 9 verses 2 through 10 and verses 16 through 19 indicate the torment and mass murder resulting from the use of modern weaponry?
Revelation 9 verse 2, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And verse 3, there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And verse 4, it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
Verse 5.
In verse 5, to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. In verse 6, in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And verse 7, the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. And on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. In verse 8, they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And verse 9, they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And verse 10, they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months.
And the course jumps ahead here to verse 16.
In verse 16, the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And verse 17, thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. And verse 18, by these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. And verse 19, for their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt.
Comment. John described what he saw in a vision God had miraculously revealed to him. It was a mysterious, frightening spectacle. The creatures he saw were obviously symbolic of weapons God knew man would be capable of inventing in the end time.
Question C5. Let us momentarily consider a time over 4,300 years ago when God intervened in human affairs to postpone what we see threatening the world today. What did human beings decide to do? Genesis chapter 11 verse 4.
Genesis 11 verse 4, and they said, go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Was this for the purpose of keeping themselves united? Same verse.
Genesis 11 verse 4. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
What did God do to frustrate their plans? Genesis chapter 11, verse 5 and verses 7 through 9.
Genesis 11, verse 5.
Then the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded.
Verse 7.
Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
Verse 8.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
Verse 9.
Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
Why? Genesis chapter 11, verse 6.
Genesis 11, verse 6.
And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
Comment, verse 6 clearly indicates that God confused the language and scattered the people at Babel in order to restrain the misguided inventive genius of man. When human beings come to freely speak one another's languages and share scientific and technological knowledge as they are doing today, then virtually anything man's mind can conceive of would be possible for him to achieve, even to exploring the moon and inventing weapons capable of destroying all life.
By confusing the language and scattering the people at Babel, God prevented man from accomplishing long ago what he has done today. It was not yet within God's plan to allow man to advance that far that soon.
Could anything be clearer? Can you see that we are living in the time Jesus spoke of in Matthew 24? The time when men would have at their disposal the power to erase all life from this earth.
This is the end of Section C of Lesson 1 of the Ambassador College Bible Correspondence course. We'll continue with Section D next time.
All right, brethren, and we're going to go ahead and sign off. I did an earlier Bible study before playing this Section C, coming back for a repeat on Section C. And you're invited to join us in the morning for the regular Sabbath service that we'll be streaming here on cogtv.org. You can get to it by typing sabbath.tv. I know some of you watch it from either Facebook Live or YouTube Live on the Sabbath service page or the Sabbath service channels, respectively. And we'll be, God willing, we'll be simulcasting there in the morning as well. So that'll be 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And remember, we're starting the Bible studies on Friday night now at 8 p.m. Eastern Time instead of 8:30 p.m. as we did for a long time. During the shorter days, the fall and winter months, we're trying a test of moving that time up to 8 p.m. And during these, we're back to regular time, not on daylight savings time anymore as of last week. But again, brethren, you're invited to join us in the morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the morning worship service. Until then, Stephen Lloyd Gilbreth wishing you a very wonderful Sabbath, a good night of sleep, and Shabbat Shalom.